Good morning. It's Monday and the 2nd of August, I believe. And it's coming up to 7:49 a.m. We got here around about, I don't know, 2:30 or something rather yesterday, I guess it was. Found the spot. It was hot. Inside the caravan it was 39 degrees. So I set up the generator, got the thing running, did my social media stuff, and then I went and had a nap. Then I woke up. I carefully chose my spot, and when I woke up I looked outside and I've got a neighbour. Now that's okay, you expect that when you find somewhere to camp, someone else is going to want to camp there as well, or they're looking for somewhere to camp as well, something like that. And they were 30 metres away, sitting out the back of the caravan enjoying their glass of wine or whatever. That's fair enough, they're on holiday, that's what it's all about. They're in the bush, there's a generator running, they're 30 metres away. Now I don't know what time they expected me to turn the generator off, but I intended to run the thing into the night because of the fact, firstly it was hot, secondly there was the Formula 1 race on and I wanted to make sure the batteries were up well and truly, to make sure that we got a recording of that. All the deep rivers right there. And so I don't know whether they were, how they felt about the fact that finally about 8:45 I think it was, I turned it off, which was probably about half an hour to an hour earlier than I wanted to. But geez people, 30 metres, give a person space. There was tons of space there. There was another, they could have parked easily 60, 70 metres away from me. But no, right behind me. Now the other thing too is that, well they did park off the driveway, there's no doubt about that. I had looked at where they were parking and thought, well that might do me. But I chose to park where I did. There was a roadway type thing, you know, an in point, an out point, and it looked as though it was the sort of thing that a semi-driver might use who comes in, or a road train driver, come in, pull in, have a snooze for the night. It was that sort of roadway. Anyway, they didn't camp on that. I'd made sure I'd camped off it. Oh, it drives me insane. Left the road dirty. Righto, we're on the Wills Development Road. We're 73 kilometres from Burke and Wills Roadhouse. When we left, it was a hot night. As it turned out, I should have opened the window on the other side of the caravan, the other side of the bed, but still, you do what you do, I guess. Had the windows open, but as that one window wasn't opened, and it's the way it is. It's a beautiful morning this morning. This countryside through here is gorgeous. Very different to the flat grassy plains. We should be somewhere near Cloncurry tonight. All goes to plan. Been running northwest, we're now swinging around to run actually directly west. For those who are interested, 265.6 degrees on the compass. At 9.3 kilometres on, this is where we're at. It's come to a bit of country where there's a few termite nests, or termite mounds growing. Well, plenty of those up here. Had problems with the batteries of the audio yesterday. They hadn't charged long enough when I put them in. Oh, and I left the ones that were on ran out. Swapped them over. They didn't take very long, and they ran out. And of course, the others then hadn't been in long enough to charge up. So as a result, I wound up with a few hassles audio-wise yesterday that I didn't notice until I got the stuff into the editor last night. So we've taken the opportunity to charge both sets of batteries up full. So hopefully we won't have a problem for a couple of days, or a few days anyway, and that as we run one set of batteries out, put them into the charger, and hopefully they will be charged up by the time the next set run out. I just had a big rumour just bouncing along the road beside us there, just off the road in the gutter, but he was a reasonable size. One wouldn't want to collect him at a high rate of knots. Well, I wouldn't want to collect him anyway. I mean, blimey, they should be able to expect to run around the bush without being annoyed, one would think. At the same time, it's a reminder that they're out there and they're active at this time of the day. It's the time of day for them, of course. Middle of the day, they'll be taking refuge from the heat as well. It's nice and cool out there at the moment. There's a few termite mounds popping up over there. They're all on that side of the road, they're not on this other side. So is it because they've popped up after a fire's gone through? Camera open, but I turned on and swung it round. Show you some people camped off well in the bush, well back in the bush. I missed them, of course, which they're probably quite happy about. This is one of those overtaking opportunity stretches of road. And it's 30 to Burke and Wills Junction. This is a long overtaking lane, and there's no overtaking lane going back the other way, so how long does this go before it goes back to a single road again? Not long. Not long, by the looks of things. Oh no, it stretches on, stretches on. Well, this piece of road's been going for over 10 kilometres now, so I guess it's going to be like this all the way into Burke and Wills. I shouldn't guess things like that because I'm generally wrong. Yep, shouldn't have guessed. Sounds like we have phone reception. And now it really is wide open country. Not grass plains, but wide open. So we've got a river coming up, a heavy vehicle call point again, so I guess it's another one of those narrow bridges like the Cloncurry River was back there. This is Crocodile Creek coming up. To Burke and Wills. Been through some changes of countryside this morning, that's for sure. It's 8:48, we've been on the road for 2 hours. No, we haven't been on the road for an hour. What am I talking about? 7:48 we left. It's 8:48 now, so we've been on the road for an hour. Just looking at speedo thinking, that doesn't seem right. Couldn't have speedo, we've done 66 kilometres. But only averaged 33 kilometres an hour, and we've done an awful lot more than that. So, yeah, been on the road for an hour. These channels are the Dismal Creek channels. Bit dismal at the moment. Oh, big beasties. Oh, I see. Watch me, and then suddenly get scared. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And there's cattle down in the creek down there. Not much in the way of water for them though. Interesting to see what sort of crowd there is at the Burke and Wills Roadhouse when we get there. Right is to Burketown and Normanton, left is to Cloncurry. Normanton's 191 up the road, Cloncurry's 183 down the road. And the roadhouse is back the other way. Okay. Julia Creek, it's 238 down that way. Been there. Well, the caravan park's pretty well populated, that's for sure. So it's 9:50. Had a coffee, done our social media stuff. There's a, I believe that's a rodeo ground in there. And that's right opposite the roadhouse. And there is 4G signal here. When I came in, nothing was happening. A lot of the people that are in the caravan park have moved on now, and the place is starting to heat up a bit. A bit busy there. So that was Burke and Wills Roadhouse. We're now heading back towards Cloncurry. Right to the left is where we've just come from. It's the Wills Developmental Road to Julia Creek. This is the Burke Developmental Road. And already she's a bit bouncy. We found that Saddened Dip in 1948, the community was founded. The farmers, there was a cattle dip set up there for tick and that sort of thing, tick and parasites. And the farmers all used to bring their station people used to bring all their cattle in there to be dipped. That dip is now no longer there, long gone. But in the meantime, they set up the races, Camp Draft, Rodeo Day. It happens once a year, every August, 20th to the 22nd this year, 3 days. And according to the camp website, they still haven't set a price. Admission price to get into it, but as I surmised, it's sort of similar to the Nullarbor muster, except the muster has I don't think it doesn't have a camp draft. Well, it didn't the year I was there anyway. Or did it? It did. I don't recall seeing it. Anyway, that was what Saddened Dip is all about. Rail freight is general freight, it appears. Okay, so whatever is in those other containers, whether it's coal or whether it's ore or whether it's whatever, I don't know, but certainly it's generally rail freight. The railways have been working on that for the last 12 months to get the rail up to date, while the Mount Isa line is being repaired apparently. I think the important factor is the fact that there is still rail operating in Western Queensland. general freight. I'm sure that WA could take some note of that. Mind you, we don't have the same problem with the roads that they have over here either, so maybe that's another factor, I don't know. Okay, back to the job. Diesel back there was $1.74 and $1.78 for unleaded. Just for the record. Something just a bit different cropping up now. There's some rock outcrops. There's one on the left of us. Just through there. And there's a couple of here on the right. These little hills just break up the flatness of the place. Yet another of these telecommunication towers. They'll be telling me, well, lights on. If you had any brains, you turn his on. Not to worry. Let me know there's a problem up ahead here, maybe. Guys on the side of the road, they're all right. You guys on the side of the road back there, all right? All of a sudden we got grasshoppers or locusts or something. We're about 53k south of Burke and Wills, and I've been going through these hills for a little while now. The map doesn't tell me what they are. I would have thought that a topo map would tell us all that sort of stuff, but they don't for some reason or other. Don't want to talk too soon, but this road's been quite good. Very good, in fact. We're about 70k from Burke and Wills. It's now 18 minutes to 11. And the road's been pretty good all through. It's been a few years since I've done this road, and we were going the other way anyway. The idea was to come back this way in 2019, but I changed my mind and went across to Burketown, and then changed my mind again and went across the top road. Part of the Savannah Way I hadn't been on. As it turned out, I'd been under a midgie attack at Burketown, and it really didn't sort of come to light until I was, well, it didn't start to affect me until we were well on our way towards the Queensland border along the top road. And of course I'd run out of antihistamines, didn't I? So, or I ran out, one or the other. So we pushed on, and instead of taking things easy, and as a result wrecked the fridge and did a couple of other things. And then found out that the chemist at Borroloola wasn't there anyway. They'd closed down 3 or 4 months earlier. So as a result, this road didn't get traversed back in 2019 either, so this now completes that side of it. The other bit we did in 2010, which we haven't done this trip, was from Burke and Wills Roadhouse along to Gregory Downs and up to Burketown, up that way. On my overall map there's a lot of roads that aren't marked just purely because of the fact that this GPS does the marking, and I didn't have this GPS back then. For the first 6 years. 7 years. Yeah, would have been handy, but still, there you go. Those grasshoppers are only a small area as it turned out, so we haven't had them for a while now. I was just sitting there thinking, haven't been getting peppered by them, so must have just been that one little swarm of them. 108 to Cloncurry. How do I know? The sign just said so that I went past. And we just passed a rest area marked on the side of the road, was a stopping point. And there's another one. It's about 300 metres up the road. 500 metres, maybe something like that. That one had a couple of shelters anyway. That's a decent sized animal. Unfortunately, when they get hit, they stay hit. Still not terribly warm outside. I mean, it's warm, but it's not hot. It's not. It seems to be a cooler day than what it was yesterday. Seems to be at this point in time. I'm just thinking we just might open a couple of the flaps up the caravan so we can't keep the air flowing through rather than keeping it up inside. It's got a rest area coming up 5 kilometres on the right, then we just might pull in there and do the necessary and maybe have a cuppa. There's a few people in there alright, all camped up. And there's a dump point here as well. Righto, a cup of coffee down, and we're on our way again. Open the flaps in the bedroom, the side flaps, so that hopefully we'll just blow some air through and just keep the inside of the caravan probably a little cooler. It's 27 degrees in there at the moment apparently, which is probably just a little bit warmer than what it is outside. It's not a bad day today. Nothing like yesterday, which was quite warm. And of course we have a fly buzzing around in here. Ouch, you devil. Right to Quamby, which I assume is an Aboriginal community. This is the Dugald River, and last night where we camped was pretty much on the Dugald River. The camp host at Julia Creek predicted that everything was going to quieten down over the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I'm wondering, we haven't seen an awful lot of traffic on this road today, and I'm wondering whether it's already started to quieten down. This road leads to Quamby, Normanton, so it's leading up into the Gulf. They're generally quite popular. Also, they're travelling across from Mount Surprise, Georgetown, Croydon. Generally, they've got to come this way as well, unless they're going on to across to Queensland, Horn Hill. So generally, you would expect there to be a fair bit of traffic on this road. Dugald River Mine, turn right. Oh, I wonder what they mine out there. MMG, Dugald River Mine. No through road it says. I don't know whether we got the audio for this the other day, but these stopping bays, the Queensland government extend out to the left-hand side or on the right, out to the left-hand side of the road, and they bitumenise it. And it's a very definite stopping bay. You can stop there, you can do what you need to do, and then move on. And it can be a rest area if you like. And the rest areas generally are bitumenised as well. The road in and the road out. So any of these parking bays and things in Western Australia generally aren't. You pull off the edge of the road and it's dirt, and there's the drop off from the bitumen onto the dirt, and yeah, they're not generally safe places to get off on them. One of the most obvious ones is at the top of Armadale Hill. As you're getting into the catchment area, and there's a rest area on the left hand side just as you're leaving, and it's generally in shocking condition. I don't see any reason why they can't be bitumenised, and the same with every rest area down the highway, any of the highways basically. Yeah, it's going to cost money, but heavens, talk about road toll. Encourage people to stop. And when you do have a rest area, don't put it on the side of a hill. Put it on a flat spot. People with caravans and RVs are supposed to keep their vehicles pretty well level. And if you're going to stop and have a snooze in the middle of the day, the last thing you want is your head down or your head up or whatever it is. You want to be laying pretty flat. People who organise these things use some brains. They end a rant there. Look at this outcrop. A couple of hills. Nice. Something a little different. Feel like stopping and running up the side. Ah! I've got a vehicle right up behind me. If it wasn't for the shadow on the road, you'd be battling to see him. See out in the mirrors. those rams around. Apparently the figures on those aren't quite accurate either, as they say you can tow this amount or whatever it is, you got this amount, but when you start going into the actual proper configurations, it's nothing like what they're suggesting in the advertising. This is the highest point we've been at for a little while, 191, 193 metres. Cloncurry, and we have another communications tower. Been fairly regular all the way down the road actually. Got a curly piece of road, they want us to slow down. Well, it says slow down, then tells me to speed up because I'm doing 77 and it wants me to do 80. Oh dear. There is a rest area just around here. Ah, it's Quamby. Right. Quamby, the old pub. So we haven't come into it from this direction before, but it's an old railway siding, I think it is. There's a pub there, well there was a pub there. All been fenced off. Oh, the place is really in ruins. There's a notice on the fence there. This property is in the possession of the mortgagee acting under power of sale. So, the place has been allowed to go to rack and ruin. I mean, it was closed before in 2013. 2010 it was closed, but it was kept in a reasonable condition. It's sad to see the old place go like that. Okay. It appears as though the road has now become a road for mining trucks. We've seen quite a number since we came past the mine, the Dougal River mine. About 3 or 4 go past the other way. This is another river that we crossed over on the Wills Road. It's the Corella River. It's up to me to stop, I think. Another one of those ore trucks. No, it's not. It's carrying other stuff, but I'm surprised. I think I've seen probably a couple of F-250s. Haven't seen one Silverado, but I've seen a heap of Rams, and that was another one that's just gone past me there. So Dodge seems to be winning the race up here at the moment. So there's a road running back to the left, just up here. Where's that one go to? Cloncurry and Saddened Dip. Saddened Dip's 113 kilometres across there. We're coming down into Cloncurry. That is the Cloncurry River. Which runs by Saddened Dip. And as you can see, when she runs, maybe you couldn't see. Quamby, July 31. It was a couple of days ago, was the rodeo.
Thank you.
I think from memory the supermarkets were right there. Okay. So there's an area over the road that we can park in. Diesel 152.9. Uh, 155.9, but it all depends on whether you can get in or out or not. Now, that's actually a... Yeah, might get in there, but I don't know whether I'll get out again. Ah, there's diesel out the street, righto. Motel, like a motel. Access electronics. Cornet's IGA. You're going to find somewhere to park, don't you?
Cheers, buddy.
So we've done a bit of a fuel fill up. Not a fuel fill up, we've done a bit of a food fill up. We've topped things up a little bit. And now it's a matter of organising fuel. The cheapest is not where we're going, but I'm hoping we can get our 4 cents out of it. Sort of hoping this is diesel. It's currently out of order. Apologies for inconvenience. Right, okay. Well, that's no good to me. Well, I've never been up here before, and the girl on the bloody Google thing's telling me nothing. Wells Camp, it says. Up that way. Well, there's cars coming backwards and forwards from up here, so I guess they all must be going to the same survey. I see, it's one of those type things. Righto. Don't know whether we can get this, let's have a look. How's that for the top of a hill? Okay, where we're fueled up, it's a truck stop, basically. $1.50.9 and card reader, so yep, open to the public as well as the truckies. That turns out that's just about the cheapest in town. I think there was somewhere else which was out of town a bit. Well, this is a side of Cloncurry I haven't been to, so there you go. Well, they did lock 5 cents a litre, or they're about 4 or 5 cents a litre off. The card things generally, some of them, they don't do that. But that one they certainly did. Again, we did the Cloncurry thing fairly well in 2010 and 2013. 2019 I called in here just basically to fuel up, that was it. Came in from Hughenden, Richmond, Julia Creek, filled up, turned around, went back out down through Winton. Just 2 kilometres out of Cloncurry is the Chinaman Dam recreation area. Just swimming, there's no camping in here. Well, the water levels are down in here this year. Cloncurry lies 770 kilometres west of Townsville via the Flinders Highway and lies adjacent to the Cloncurry River. Cattle grazing is the significant industry in the region, and a large sale yards is located in the town. The population in Cloncurry decreased from 3,900 in 1996 to 2,400 in 2006. The first Europeans to traverse the area were Burke and Wills on their epic and ultimately fatal transcontinental expedition. The Cloncurry River was named by Burke after Lady Elizabeth Cloncurry, his cousin, with the town eventually taking its name from the river. Ernest Henry discovered copper in the area in 1867, and the town sprang up to service the Great Australia Mine to the south. The town was surveyed in 1876, and Cloncurry was proclaimed a town in 1884. The discovery of uranium at Mary Kathleen brought wealth to the community in the 1950s. Until the development of Mount Isa in the 1960s, Cloncurry was the administrative centre of the region. John Flynn Place Museum and Art Gallery, Queensland, commemorates the work of John Flynn and the beginnings of the Royal Flying Doctor Service, and also celebrates the contribution from Fred Mackay and Alfred Traeger. It was at Cloncurry that the Royal Flying Doctor Service was established in 1928. Flynn's choice of Cloncurry was based on its proximity to the mining camps and scattered pastoralists, all of whom were poorly served by any kind of medical services. At a time when his ideas seemed wild and revolutionary, he developed a scheme which combined aircraft, radios and medicine to provide a mantle of safety for inland people. The radio galley is a tribute to the amazing work of Alfred Traeger, the inventive genius who gave a voice to outback Australia through the pedal radio. A valuable art collection is on display in the Fred Mackay Art Gallery, which displays winners of the Ernest Henry Art Show and temporary exhibitions. Okay, we must be out of town almost by now, I'd say. Time to go. I'm going to check out the Chinaman's Lake. So the Wagon Wheel Historic Restaurant now, I don't know whether it still opens or not. It says it does, so I guess it does. Now there is a house down here I want to photograph. Cloncurry River. When you water in there, up that way to the left, maybe it's dammed, because there's nothing to the right. Chinaman Creek Dam, turn left 300 metres, we've got to go and have a look at that. Don't know what's going on here. Now this is a day use area. Which is a pity on one way, but then again, maybe it's saviour on the other. Oh, well, some water in here, that's good. Oh yeah, she was dry in 2013. Isn't that just a pretty view? Okay, time to move on and find somewhere to stay for the night. There's your picnic area just up there. Talking to a couple of guys across from Mount Isa, chasing up on some pools and that over here, fixing them up. And they live in the area and brought up in the area and that sort of thing. And I said they're over here checking out now because the survivor stuff has just been carted away, packed up and taken away. And he said the whole thing's a joke. He said they were staying in motels, they weren't that far away, they were, you know, the toughest thing they had to do out in the middle of nowhere was only 15 kilometres out of town and all this sort of thing. So yeah, complete and utter joke. Yeah. Anyway, we know that, don't we? said in 2006 that was that drive that he could actually drive across to that island out there, or the hill out there, walk across. 116 to Mount Isa, 56 to, oh shit, what was the name of it? It's a rest area. That'll be chockers. We could go into Corella Dam, but I think we will probably see if we can get into Mary Kathleen. Have a look at that. I haven't looked at it properly. Oh, look at that country ahead of us. I remember being pretty much awestruck going the other way. This countryside through here, this is just awesome. Big lizard on the right hand side by the look of it. And a hot night last night, but Burke and Wills Memorial on the left. Okay, I know where I am now. I'm not stopping at this time. I've been there a couple of times. What was I saying? Yeah, it was a really, really hot night last night. But no, it was an interesting drive yesterday, and this morning was pretty uneventful, but it was a nice smooth road for a change.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
But into the
yeah, I read what you wrote before.
Yep.
About
this is just gorgeous through here. Absolutely. Of course, widescreen doesn't show it on the video. No one hear it. Corella Dam is into the left down here somewhere. Maybe a bit further on, but yeah, the sun goes in and straight away it cools the car down. It's the most cloud I've seen in ages. Hamilton Park, turn left 1 kilometre. camping area. Mary Kathleen mines are just along the road here a wee bit. We're thinking that's where we might see if we can stay the night. If you enjoyed this video, there's over 200 more just like it on this channel. Subscribe and hit the notification bell and we'll let you know when our next video is available. If you like this video, hit the like button. And if you weren't that impressed, please don't hit the dislike button. Instead, tell us why, so that we can do something about it. Thanks for watching.